Hi Pine class, I hope you had a really good weekend. It's Monday morning and in maths this week we're going to be continuing with learning about fractions, and today we're going to be learning how to add fractions with the same denominator. And I'm going to go through some examples with you now and then you're going to have a go yourselves. So the first question we've got here is 2/5 plus 1/5. So the first thing we need to do is look at what the denominator is. So in this case we're working in fifths. So in order to help us, I've drawn a diagram of a whole which has been split into fifths, which is the same denominator for both fractions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in order to be able to add these, I'm going to represent them on our whole, which has been divided into fifths. So the first part is 2/5. So on my fifths I'm going to shade 2 of them. 1, 2. So 2 of my fifths are now coloured in. Now it's asking me to add 1/5. So I need to shade in an additional fifth, and I'm going to change colour to make that really clear that this is what we're adding. So here's my 1/5. Now I've added my 2/5 and my 1/5, and I can see how many fifths are now shaded. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of the 5. So 2/5 plus 1/5 gives me 3/5. Same process with the next question. So the question is 1/3 plus 1/3. Look first at the denominator. Clearly I'm working in thirds, so here's my whole. It's been split into thirds. 1, 2, 3. First representation I'm going to draw on my bar is 1/3. So I'm going to shade in one of these thirds. And then in my sum, it's asking me to add another third. So I'm going to change colour again. And I'm adding my additional third. Now I can see how many are shaded in total. 1, 2. 2 of my thirds. So 1/3 plus 1/3 gives me 2/3. Now, sometimes you might be asked to add more than one fraction together. And in this case, we've been asked to add 3 fractions. And as long as they have the same denominator, it's exactly the same process. So if you have a look at this sum, we've got 2/10 plus 4/10 plus 3/10. So clearly, looking at the denominators, we're working in tenths. So here's my whole, and my whole bar has been split into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And first I need to represent 2/10. So 1, 2/10 are now shaded. Then it's asking me to add another 4/10. So I'm going to change colour, and I'm going to add my 4/10 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, it's asking me to add an additional 3/10. So I'm going to change colour again and add those 3/10. 1, 2, 3. Now in total in my bar, I can see that 9/10 have been shaded. So 2/10 plus 4/10 plus 3/10 gives me 9/10. Excellent. Now, what happens if we add fractions together that make a number that is greater than 1? Now, I'm setting this as a spicy challenge in the work you're going to do today, but first of all, I need to show you how you would add 2 fractions together that equal greater than 1. So here's our first example. 5/6 plus 3/6. Now we start with the same process. We're working in 6. Both denominators are 6, so our wholes need to be split into 6 parts. Now we're going to be working with a fraction that's greater than 1, so actually I'm going to draw 2 wholes here because I know it's going to be greater than 1. So I've got 1 whole here divided into 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I've got another whole here, also split into 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's the same process. The first representation is 5/6. So I'm going to shade those in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's asking me to add 3/6. So I'm going to change colour again like I normally do. And I'm going to add 3 more 6. 1. Now I've finished my whole. And I've only done one of my 3/6. So now I need to move on to my second bar of 6. So I've got 2 more to go. 2, 3. So in total, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8/6 are shaded. So 5/6 plus 3/6 is 8/6. Or I can also say I've got 1 whole, because this whole bar is shaded. And then on my second bar, I've got 2 of the 6 shaded. So you could also say that I've got 1 whole and 2 6. So there are 2 answers that mean exactly the same thing. 8/6 is the same as 1 whole and 2 6. Let's try one more example before you guys have a go. So this time we've got 6/8 plus 3/8. Look first at the denominator. Clearly we're working in 8s, so 1 whole should be divided into 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First representation is 6/8, so I can colour those in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 6/8. And then it's asking me to add 3 more 8s. So I'm going to change colour again. So 1, 2, I finished my whole. So I need to move on to my next whole, which again is split into 8 equal parts. And there's my third 8th. So now in total I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9/8, which is the same as 1 whole and 1/8. I hope that all makes sense to you. Today you are going to be adding fractions by shading in fraction bars, and I would like you to show that you've used different colours to represent the sum. And you're going to do a whole sheet of these, and the spicy challenge is going to ask you to add 2 fractions together that will be greater than 1, and you will need to draw the representation for that. Good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on.